Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo Emi's Path Part 13. And if Emi ever gets an evil glare in her eyes again, I am running like hell out of this shed. Emi yelps a little as she rolls over. She grabs a couple of the tissues we kept handy earlier and cleans up before getting her panties back on and awkwardly leaning against the wall. Still breathing heavily, I decide to sit against the wall next to her. The feeling of the cool concrete against my sweating back is a welcome sensation.
That hurt at the end.
Yeah, this was probably not a great idea. Emi squirms in order to try and sit down beside me without too much pain. Judging by her wincing, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, I'm going to have words with the captain. He was clearly lying.
The utter and absolute ridiculousness of the situation suddenly hits, and I begin laughing. Emi shakes her head and begins laughing with me.
Hey, Hisao.
Yeah?
We're never doing this again, right?
Yeah, I think my curiosity is satisfied on this one. Emi nods satisfied.
Good. I think we should maybe stick to the basics, don't you? I mean, most of this is new to me anyway.
What do you mean, most? Emi grins impishly.
I'll never tell.
An unpleasant thought strikes me. Even more unpleasant is the thought of having to ask Emi about it. Still, after what we've just done, it should be a cakewalk. Hey, is there a sink? I'd kind of like to, wash off a little. Emi's jaw drops.
In the sink?
Well, there's not really anywhere else to do it, is there? And I want to avoid a smell that the nurse might notice. This is the most awkward conversation I have ever had.
You're right. Yeah, it's on the back wall. There might be some soap, too.
Thanks. There is, in fact, a little hand soap, which is better than nothing. No towel, though. Guess I'll just have to drip dry.
All finished?
Yeah, that'll do for now. It's not like I'm not going to take a shower after we see the nurse.
Glad to hear it. Now help me find my clothes. You tossed them somewhere.
Hey, you were no better. How am I supposed to explain that hole in my shirt,
Sorry, I got a little excited earlier.
It takes some time, but finally we're both more or less clothed. There's a frantic moment where neither of us knows where Emi's wheelchair is, but I recall it going through the door and rescue it.
Now be more careful going through the door this time, would you? Bumps are not my friend right now.
I am so sorry we tried this. Emi shrugs and grins.
Well, it was worth a shot, right? And anyway, it was a good exercise, right?
Can't argue that. As we make our way up to the nurse's office, I notice that Emi keeps shifting uncomfortably in her seat. Oh god.
God, this feels weird. Good thing I'm in a wheelchair, Hisao.
Why's that?
Because now I don't have to explain to the nurse why I'm walking funny.
Oh. We're never doing this again. The nurse is at least kind enough to not comment on the marks that Emi left on my shoulders. Oh dear. Nor does he say a word about Emi's constant shifting about in her wheelchair. Either he didn't notice or he didn't want to. Either he didn't notice or he didn't want to notice. All the same, I'm going to have to make sure he didn't slip cyanide into my medication for a little while. Just to be safe. I shower for longer than usual just to be sure I'm clean of our little experiment and then collapse on my bed. Class is in 20 minutes, so I could probably afford a nap. Ay, ay, ay. Did the game freeze or is he gonna wake up? Oh, there's a knock. Knock, knock. Who's there? Knock, knock. That's not how the joke goes at all. Knock, knock. I already said who's there. More importantly, what time is it? Even more importantly, what day? I am suddenly catapulted into wakefulness by both the fact that the knocking still hasn't stopped and the fact that it's noon. On a school day. Now fully awake, I can remember why I was napping. Better not give that excuse to Muto. Sorry, I wasn't in class. I was experimenting sexually with my girlfriend and it tired me out. Yeah, that'll go over well. I wonder how long this knocking is going to continue. Guess I ought to answer the door. No! No! Anyone but him! I'm strangely unsurprised to see Kenji on the other side. Though it appears that Kenji is surprised to see me. What the hell are you doing here, man? Well, I was sleeping. Kenji nods in understanding. Knocked out, I see. I told you to be careful around that Ibarazaki chick, man. This is the sort of thing that happens when you aren't cautious. He makes an attempt to look at the back of my head. Did she hit you with something? Or was it a drug? Stop trying to touch me. Kenji produces a flashlight and shines it in my eyes. You got a concussion? I wasn't knocked out. Maybe you just don't remember. This conversation isn't going anywhere. No, I just had a tiring morning and fell asleep. Whatever, man. If you want to be in denial about this, I guess I can't stop you. But you gotta watch out for that girl, man. She's not safe. What? She's not safe to be around. She's one of their most sinister agents. If you're not careful, there's no telling what could happen. She's brought down stronger men than you know. What the hell are you talking about? She's not an agent of anything, and she didn't knock me out, okay? I also highly doubt that she's brought down anyone at all. Kenji looks almost offended. I have no idea why. You don't believe me? That's cold, man. Real cold. I'm just trying to look out for you. That's what friends do, you know. We're friends? I had no idea. Then again, I wonder if Kenji knows what being a friend even entails. I feel something like pity for him standing there before me. Maybe he does think he's looking out for me. I know. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for the warning. I hold out my hand as a sign of peace. Kenji shakes it gingerly, like my hand could possibly be on fire. There's an awkward silence for a few seconds before Kenji remembers that he's still shaking my hand. Anyway, I need a favor. What kind of favor? I'm out of money. No, you aren't. You've got money kept in your desk drawer under a black notebook for emergencies. Did you ransack my room? That's not important. I don't need money anyway. He adopts a very serious tone. I'm about to undertake a major op. It'll blow the whole conspiracy wide open if I'm right. But it's dangerous, so I need you to do something for me in case I don't come back. Sure, man, anything. What the hell is he planning on doing? Should I be telling someone about this? If I go missing, wait 3 days and then mail my journal off to the newspapers. It's hidden in my room under a false bottom in one of my desk drawers. How do I get into your room? I don't have a key. Kenji looks at me like I'm crazy. So pick the lock. You know how to do that, right? It's an important skill to learn at a young age. Yeah, of course, I know how. I'll be sure to, do that for you if you go missing. I don't think I want to read Kenji's journal. Either way, Kenji seems pretty happy that I've agreed to do this thing for him. Great, man, great. I'll see you around. I got stuff to do. And he's gone, dashing down the hallway. He made it seem so final. I hope I don't have to carry out his final wishes. Shaking my head, I close my door and walk back to my bed. Guess I should go to class, if only to catch the last half of the day. But I've come this far without going to class today. And I did want to read more of that Hawking book Muto lent me. I'm sure he'll understand. Knock, knock. This time the noise jerks my attention away from my book. An experience not unlike being woken up. Who's there?
Me! Aren't you glad?
The voice is muffled through the door, but unmistakably Emi's. I hop up and open the door, smiling broadly. Hey, nice to see you again. Emi grins back, staring up at me from her wheelchair.
Yeah, you would have seen me earlier, but the damned elevator wasn't working. Had to wait for them to fix it. You'd think they could keep it in better order, but no.
I chuckle a bit at her vexed expression and invite her in. She wheels in easily, and with my help, she hops onto my bed.
They're much more comfortable than that stupid chair.
A sigh of contentment hangs in the air, and for a minute we both just stare at one another. It's at that point that I notice the circles under Emi's eyes. They're not that dark, but they definitely weren't there before. Before I could ask about them, Emi fixes me with a mischievous stare.
So I couldn't help but notice you weren't at lunch today. In fact, I don't think I saw you at all. What happened?
Fell asleep. I actually didn't wake up until lunch, and only then because Kenji woke me up.
What had you so tired?
Strenuous workout this morning. Slightly uncomfortable, too. Emi coughs a half-laughing, half-embarrassed noise.
Remind me not to do that again.
No problem. It wasn't exactly great for me either, to be honest. We'll just avoid that from now on. Are you, still sore? Emi stares at me in disbelief. What? It's a legitimate question.
Of all the questions I never thought I'd be asked, that's one of them.
Well, I didn't ever expect to have to ask it, so we're even. Emi laughs at this.
I guess so, huh? Well, since you asked, yes, I'm still a little sore. We're never doing that again.
No arguments from here. A yawn escapes her, and I raise an eyebrow. Tired? Emi nods sleepily.
Haven't slept well.
Not sleeping well. I could tell that she didn't mean to tell me this either, because she gives a little start like she's just been caught lying and hastens to add.
It's not a big deal, though.
What's the trouble? Emi shrugs and refuses to elaborate. Stressed over exams? Another shrug, but after a pause, Emi nods hesitantly.
Yeah, I guess. Actually, that's why I stopped by.
She begins to look more and more miserable. Not so you'd notice, of course, but her eyes are on her lap. She's fidgeting and her voice is quiet.
We need to stop hanging out so much.
Huh? Why? Emi takes a deep breath, like she's been practicing this.
Because you're too much fun to be around. And I can't concentrate when you're near me. With exams coming up soon, I just can't have that distraction. Otherwise, my grades will be pretty lousy, I'm afraid.
I can help you study. She smiles at me, clearly unhappy with the situation.
I'd love it if you could, but we wouldn't actually study, would we? I mean, even now, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but I kind of just want to, not converse.
Ah. Overwhelmed by my rugged manliness. I understand. That earns me a grin, at least. Emi shakes her head.
Idiot, you're full of yourself.
Well, I am pretty irresistible.
More or less, I guess. So, that's the situation, Hisao. I have too much fun around you, and if I'm going to go into exams prepared, I need to be alone.
Hey, that's okay. It really seems to have been bothering her. Besides, it's only a couple of weeks, and we'll still see each other in the mornings and at lunch. We could just hang out at school, no problem. And after exams, we'll go on a date to celebrate their being over, okay? Emi grins, pleased by this proposal.
Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
As if to signal the end of the conversation, she leans in and kisses me. The rest of the night is not spent worrying about exams. More peaceful days with Emi. Actually, kind of busy days with Emi, if you know what I mean. Anywho, let's see what the next day has for us. It's weird how easily Emi and I could keep from seeing one another after class now. Actually, I'd venture to say that it's vaguely disturbing. As easily as we'd come together, we seem to have split apart without much trouble. Well, I guess that's not exactly true. We'd both been pretty bummed after that last night together. And we get to see each other every morning for our runs, and just our runs, I might add. Lunch, too. I especially enjoy lunchtime with her. We have plenty of time to talk about everything outside of school, whereas the morning runs have become increasingly businesslike. I think it's because Emi wants to make up for our foolery in the storage shed. But no matter how much we joke at lunch, I can't help feeling a little worried about her. She seems distracted more often, and I've caught her fidgeting nervously more than once. Never figured her to be someone who cared that deeply about exams, but they certainly seem to be taking their toll. Even though they haven't even started. This is just a run-up, the deep breath before the plunge. Tomorrow, the real trials begin. Or the real exams, anyway. As for me, I actually don't feel that worried about exams at all. I'm not sure why. I mean, they're pretty important. My scores here will determine my odds of getting into a good university. Hell, if I'm too cavalier now, it could spell doom for my academic career. But going into them, I feel confident that I'll come out the other side okay. Muto thinks I've got the science examination locked up at any rate. Or, as he says, the last thing that should give you trouble is my exam, Hisao. It's way beneath your talents. Then again, it is Muto who's telling me this. His praise of me carries the veiled implication that anything less than perfect from me would be a disappointment, which has actually caused me to fret more than I should about the exam. It's for that reason that I find myself in the library after class, poring over the textbook. Pretty simple things to look over, some formulas of velocity, a few bits about friction. A walk in the park compared to my dreaded English exam. Never was good with languages. As I flip through my notes one more time, my mind begins to wander. After these exams are over, things should get easier. Soon we'll be graduated, then off to college, hopefully. I remember my abortive attempt to find out what Emi plans to do after high school. She avoided the subject pretty deftly, as I recall. Heck, it seems that just about every time I push too hard, she dances around the subject. Or distracts me through other means. Like a few days ago at lunch when Rin wasn't around. I've done it! I'm startled from my reverie by Yuuko's triumphant shout. Gah! Yuuko seems mortified at my sudden starting.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry, I just got, and I really wasn't, and it's just that...
As she stutters, I move to quickly calm her down before she gets too agitated. Whoa, hey! My words seem ineffective. Yuuko continues to work herself into a complete frenzy.
And it's a library and I shouldn't be...
Easy there, just calm down. Really upset... Oh no, that's Yuuko.
And really, I'm setting a bad example and now I'll get fired because I can't do anything right.
Yuuko! Shouting seems to work, though I draw the ire of several other students studying in the library. Yuuko steps to attention like a soldier who's just heard the captain bark an order.
Sorry.
Calm down, it's okay. You just startled me a little, and that's only because I was daydreaming instead of studying. So really, you got me back on task. This is a complete lie, but it seems to work. Yuuko takes a deep breath and seems to calm down a little. Though she keeps shifting around with a nervous energy that seems awfully familiar. So, what's got you so excited anyway?
The Yamaku cat burglar.
To her credit, Yuuko manages to convey her intense excitement in a whisper.
I think I know who it is. I got an anonymous tip as to their identity. So I did some spying and I think the tipster was right.
Oh, really? And who was this, burglar? Yuuko shuts her mouth, shaking her head decisively.
Nope, I can't tell you that.
Why not?
It's between me and the burglar. I can't risk you warning him that I'm onto his game. He could tip his hand early and blow town. Then I'm left with no perp.
When did Yuuko start talking like a hard-boiled detective? I wouldn't warn them. Why would I care?
If you've got to ask that question, then you don't need to know.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Congratulations, I guess?
Thanks! What for?
The, cat burglar thing? Yuuko nods and smiles appreciatively.
So, studying for exams?
Well, that was the plan. I'm not having much luck, though.
Really? Is it because you can't find a book? I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to clean the shelves up for weeks now, but I keep getting distracted. I'm so sorry.
Whoa, wait. It's not that. I've got my book right here. To illustrate the point and hopefully calm Yuuko down, I show her the textbook in front of me. My mind just keeps wandering is all.
Is it because of the noise in here? I'm trying to be more strict about the noise levels, but I can't bring myself to yell at people. I mean, aren't their lives hard enough without me throwing my authority around?
No, it's not the noise level either, I promise. I'm just... hell, I don't know. Worried about Emi. Worried about us. Worried about what happens after we graduate. Emi's been kind of weird lately.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how we're dating now? I just don't know that we're actually, you know, a couple. Or at least I don't know that we're beyond friends. Though friends normally don't do the sort of things we do. Physically, we're a couple. Coupling, at least. It's like every time I try to find out more about her or about what she wants to do with her life, she dodges the question. Like the other day, I was talking to her at lunch about some schools I've been looking into. And I asked her, have you looked into any schools lately? She shrugs and in response says no, and when I ask why not, she says that she doesn't think that far ahead. I asked why she had that policy, and she... I suddenly realized what I'm about to start describing and wisely decide to clam up.
She what?
She changed the subject. Wouldn't talk about it.
Maybe it's an uncomfortable subject for her? Or she just doesn't think it needs explaining.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Every time I try to find out what's been bothering her, she changes the subject too. It's like she likes being with me, but not getting close to me. Now that I've said it out loud, I feel worse. Yuuko digests this bit of information.
You know, it seems to me that you're more serious about this than she is.
I could almost feel my stomach twist into a knot. She's right. That's exactly what it seems like. But is that really what's going on? I mean...
Sorry, I'm just talking nonsense. You shouldn't take my advice. You barely know me. I'm just a librarian and I'm single, so you can imagine I can't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think you have a point. As much as it hurts to even consider it. Yuuko seems to try desperately to find a way to soften the blow somewhat.
Look. I'm probably wrong, but if you want to be sure of how obviously wrong I am, maybe you should just talk to her. Get some time alone and just ask about it. And don't let her change the subject either.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should just enjoy what I have. We have fun hanging out after all. And the runs are nice and the other activities are nice and talking to her is nice. Do I really need to get closer to her? What I've got right now is pretty good. But that's silly. I want to get closer to her. I want to be able to help her out with whatever is bothering her. But maybe I should wait until after exams are over. Maybe she'll brighten up once the stress is past. If she does, then I don't need to worry about it anymore. But if she doesn't, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I thank Yuuko for her advice and head back to my room. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate more on my studies in there. Oh boy. Yeah, we should be getting closer to Act 4. Not too much longer. Gonna try to get a little bit more done before I call this an LP part. I leave the room after finishing my final exam and breathe a sigh of relief. As I'd hoped, the exams weren't so bad. I managed to breeze through just about everything but the English final. And even that was acceptable. I wonder how Emi did. Even more so, how is she doing? She looked terrible at lunch today. I mean, she was pretty happy to be out of her wheelchair, but she was so exhausted. Something's been wearing her down, and I'm starting to really doubt that it was just the exams. Should I confront her about this, though? My musing is interrupted by a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Hisao. Got a minute? I don't think this skate isn't relevant, so I think we can choose either one. I suppose I can spare a few minutes. Yeah, I've got some time. Nowhere important to be or anything like that. Muto raises an eyebrow as if questioning my statement, then beckons me back into the classroom. I wanted to get some feedback from you if I could. I know that this course wasn't quite up to your level. Don't worry about it, the science club activities more than made up for it. Did they? Well, in fact, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you think that it was a worthwhile activity? Just for my own reference. Well, yeah, it was a great way to go further than we did in class. It was definitely worthwhile. Muto seems delighted by my response. That's great. Exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. You know, Hisao, I'm glad you came here. It's always good to have a student who really gets into the subject you teach. In a way, it makes dealing with the rest of the students more tolerable. You're a bright kid, too. You took to this stuff like a duck to water, or some other such simile. Thanks. You were a great help, especially with that college stuff. There's one more thing, Hisao. A bit of advice from one scientist to another. What's that? What does a scientist do? Observe the world around them. Exactly, good. A simple question, but one that most people can't seem to answer. That's the essence of a scientist, Hisao. We observe what's there and try to figure it out. But what if there's something you can't figure out? What's a scientist to do if he can't observe something? How, for example, can we talk about quarks when nobody has ever actually seen one, or black holes when observing them directly is impossible? Well, scientific equipment's pretty advanced. Muto irritably waves away my response. No, that's not it at all. Those are tools. I'm trying to give you a philosophy. Think, if you can't observe something directly, then how could you observe it? Guess? How? How would you guess the movement of a quark? What is your guess based on? Of course. I should have thought of it earlier. The things it affects. Muto claps his hands together excitedly and whoops! Yes, exactly. Good. Remember that, Hisao. If you can't examine something directly, it's because you're looking at it wrong. You have to look at it differently if you want to uncover the truth, and if it eludes you, then look at what it leaves behind. That is the essence of being a scientist. We never stop looking for the answer. Never take anything for granted. Observe, experiment, and observe some more. There's a lot of stuff out there that makes no sense, Hisao. Your job is to get it to make sense. If nothing else, I'd hope you've learned that here. I think I can remember that. Muto smiles satisfied. Good. Now go enjoy your time off. You've earned it. I leave the room feeling a little confused. What brought that on? Although, am I going about this thing with Emi the wrong way? If she won't tell me, then can I go about it some other way? The question keeps spinning in my head even after I made my way back to my room. What if she gets angry about it? Besides, what if it's nothing? If I go in and refuse to leave until she tells me what's wrong or something, won't that come off as clingy? I don't want to start a fight or anything over something like this. Maybe I should just drop the matter and see how she is tomorrow before I do anything. Would it be so bad to just let it go? It's not like we don't enjoy each other's company. But odd as it sounds, I really want to help her. I don't even know what with or if there's anything at all she needs help for. But I want to. Suddenly a knock at my door rouses me. Oh, again? I open it to see Kenji. Oh, it's you. It's me, that's it? If you had any idea what I've been through, what I've done, you'd be happier to see me, dude. I mean, that was some epic you may never see me again shit. And here you are just acting like I went down to the store for some milk. You're a cold man, Hisao. I really respect that. Thanks, I guess. It's smart to play it safe, you know. Don't show any emotion. Keep your cards close to your chest. Unless it's time to show your cards or you have bad cards. Then you should fold or collect your winnings. Do you understand? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I take it the mission went well. Whoa, awfully nosy of you, isn't it? You can't just go saying things like that. Things are at a delicate stage. One wrong move and BAM! The invasion succeeds. I thought you were going to blow the conspiracy wide open. It's bigger than I thought. I need to update my charts. And probably change some of the puppets around. You want to help? I've got some whiskey from somewhere. You can fill me in on everything your investigation has turned up. Or better not. I'm supposed to meet her today. Gotta go do that. Can't raise suspicion. Kenji nods in approval. Still keeping it close to the chest, eh? Okay, man, I respect that. Good luck. Thanks. I'm just going to pretend for the sake of my own sanity that he's wishing me luck in talking to Emi. And if I squint, that whole card analogy he was talking about works here. Alrighty, folks, we're going over the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to cut it off here. So stay tuned for Let's Play Katawa Shoujo, Emi's Path, Part 14, when we confront Emi about all of our troubles, and hopefully we can help her out. Anyways, stay tuned for that. See you then. Later, peoples.